Hi, Q Nation. Welcome back to our guide, Beginner's Guide to Colognes. So, you were asking me what are the differences between different levels or different levels of cologne, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So sometimes when I look at cologne or perfume, I get confused because one says it's a cologne, and then in another bottle it says Eau de Toilette, and then there's another bottle that says Eau de Parfum, something like that. I don't know what's the difference. Is it just French, English, or?
You know that's actually a great question. Yeah. So actually, what these are varying ratios of alcohol to perfume oil in them. So yeah, so some will be stronger and some won't be as strong. So the cologne has the least amount of perfume oil. And then there's the eau de toilette, which has a little bit more of the perfume oil. And then there's eau de parfum. And then there's parfum. And then there's like oil-based perfumes like attar. Is basically just oil. So the difference is they're going to act differently on everybody's skin. So the less perfume oil there is, and the more alcohol, the greater the sillage will be. It's spelled sillage, but it's pronounced sillage. It's a French word, and that is all about the projection. So something that has more eau de toilette cologne, those you can smell them from further away because they evaporate more. So you can you can smell someone who's wearing that like an eau de toilette from further away, but they won't last as long. It might not have the same longevity as an eau de parfum. Eau de parfum tend to be a little stronger and will last longer on the skin for maybe several hours more, but you might not smell it from as far away. So that's basically the difference
Wow,
between those levels.
very interesting because I didn't know.
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
I had no idea either until I researched these things. It is confusing. Eau de toilette, eau de parfum. How are you supposed to know the difference?
Like, am I going? What am I going to shop for? Hey, can I ask for a cologne or a de toilette or perfume? I don't know, but it's very good that it's there's some clarity on what to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and you know what's even more confusing? So a lot of times they'll come out with a cologne. They'll come out with the original will be an eau de toilette. It might not even say EDT on it. And then a couple of years later they'll come out with the eau de parfum version of that same cologne. So you're like, okay, it has the same name. One says EDP, the other says EDT. So it can get really confusing because they have 3 or 4 colognes with the same name, but they might just be different, different levels.
So that bottoms down to it's just a different chemical mixture of makeup, basically.
You got it.
That's what they are.
Exactly.
And each chemical has its own properties, whereas a cologne, it's less oil, I think is what you said?
Yeah, so there's less perfume. Those are actually the weakest. The one that actually says, if it says like Aventus, Creed Aventus, they have Creed Aventus, one of the most popular colognes, men's colognes. The original was I think it's an EDT or Eau de Parfum, EDP maybe. But then they came out with Aventus Cologne. You're like, okay, what the heck's the difference now? Right? So the Aventus Cologne, so not only is it a different ratio of perfume oil to alcohol, but it has a slightly different smell. When you change those properties, the fragrance is a little bit different. It develops differently. So it won't be as strong. It might project more, but it might not last as long on your skin.
So if you want to make like a statement, if you're out to make a first impression, you want to make a strong, bold statement, then you want to go with something like a perfume?
No, you want to go with a cologne or eau de toilette because that'll fill up the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a perfume or an eau de parfum will maybe stay closer to the skin and might be good for a date night, but it's not going to announce your presence in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you very much. What an informative piece of information.
I can help. Thank you.